Hello, happy believers. God is not a God of confusion. God is not the author of confusion. God is not chaotic. God is not the God of dissension. God does not want us to be in disorder, but in harmony and peace. For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace, as in all the meetings of God's holy people. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. I will write and reflect on Luke chapter 8, verses 22 to 25. One day Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us cross to the other side of the lake." So he got into the boat with them and set out. As they sailed, he fell asleep, and a windstorm came down on the lake, so that the boat was being swamped, and they were in great danger. The disciples went and woke Jesus, saying, "Master, Master, we are perishing." Then Jesus got up and rebuked the wind and the raging waters, and they subsided, and all was calm. "Where is your faith?" he asked. Frightened and amazed, they asked one another, "Who is this? He commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him." Reflection. Some days we can be so full of serenity and peace, and other days we can be the complete opposite. We can feel tied up in knots, not knowing what to do or think. Our heads can be in a spin. When Jesus and the disciples set out in the boat on the lake, it was a calm, peaceful and restful day, and Jesus fell asleep. A lovely scene of calm and quiet. Then, out of nowhere, a storm rapidly approached. The boat was being swamped, and they knew they were in great danger. Sound familiar? When things come at us in our own life, all of a sudden, things we least expect, we can feel overwhelmed, vulnerable, and feel we are out of our depth and not going to cope. We can feel very much on our own and feel Jesus is asleep and does not care. Because if he did, this would not be happening to us, we think. But Jesus was there in the middle of their ordeal, and once they called out to Jesus, he sprung into action and calmed the storm to their amazement. In their fear, they woke Jesus, saying, "Master, Master, we are perishing." In another gospel it says, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" Then Jesus got up and calmed the storm. Then Jesus asked the disciples, "Where is your faith?" And in another gospel, he asks them, "Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?" Then they experienced another type of fear, a holy fear of awe, and they were amazed at Jesus. He had such command over the wind and water. They obeyed him. Jesus has showed them how truly powerful he is. Jesus has showed them how truly powerful he is, having even control over the elements of nature. Frightened and amazed, they asked one another, "Who is this? He commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him." Jesus asks the disciples a question and then gives them the answer to all their problems. Why are you afraid? Jesus wants to know, even though they were in danger, why were they fearful, anxious, felt uncared for and alone? Then Jesus said, "O you of little faith." Jesus acknowledged their lack of faith in him. If they had trusted and believed in him, they would not have been afraid of the challenge they faced. They would have known Jesus would have brought them through it, as he did once they called out to him. They would have been in the eye of the storm, where there is pure calm in the centre and chaos all around it, and therefore would not have been affected by it. At this time, the disciples were just getting to know Jesus. It was all new and very exciting for them. Our faith can be as equally exciting for us as we read the Bible and get to know Jesus and the positive impact he can have on our lives. The following reading explains it so well. Jesus is the vine, and all of us, his followers, are branches. And it shows how we can do nothing without Jesus. We can have our peace and serenity, but when it wavers, all we have to do is to go back to Jesus for a top-up and receive more grace as we live everything through him, with him, and in him, for a grace and spirit-filled life. This is only possible by prayer. Private prayer, going to church, receiving the Eucharist, receiving the Eucharistic Jesus, sitting before the tabernacle, reading the Bible, and participating in adoration of the Eucharist. As Catholics, we are blessed with such a variety of prayers to choose from. The most important are Holy Mass, the Eucharist, the Bible, the Rosary, confession, and fasting. And the following is a very good explanation why. Jesus is the vine, followers are the branches. John chapter 15, verses 1 to 11. I am the real vine, and my Father is the gardener. He breaks off every branch in me that does not bear fruit, and he prunes every branch that does bear fruit, so that it will be clean and bear more fruit. You have been made clean already by the teaching I have given you. Remain united to me, and I will remain united to you. A branch cannot bear fruit by itself. It can do so only if it remains in the vine. In the same way, you cannot bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Those who remain in me, and I in them, will bear much fruit, for you can do nothing without me. Those who do not remain in me are thrown out like a branch and dried up. Such branches are gathered up and thrown into the fire, where they are burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, then you will ask for anything you wish, and you will have it. My Father's glory is shown by your bearing much fruit, and in this way you become my disciples. I love you just as the Father loves me. Remain in my love. If you obey my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in His love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. Jesus says, if we remain in Him, He will remain in us. Please like, subscribe and share so we can all live our wonderful Catholic faith together in all its richness. Next painting, very, very soon. Watch this space. Until then, remember, remain in Jesus and He will remain in you.